My name is Evie Gosselin. I'm here to talk to you about sea squirts. Sea squirts, or ascidians, are invertebrates that are potato-shaped organisms, and they're found on all parts of the seas, from the surface to the intertidal zones, all the way down to the depths of the ocean. As you can see here down on the docks, the sea squirts attach themselves to basically anything. The lines of the traps, the ship's hulls, the side of the docks, and even tops of crabs. Here on the Cape Cod waters, the sea squirts are actually a really invasive species, and one type is called the Stylochlavum, which looks like a club, and as you can see here, it's completely covering this side of the trap. Another type of species we have is called the sea grate, which are the really small tunicates that you see mostly along the edge of the docks.
So to talk a little about the basic anatomy of a tunicate, as you can see in this diagram here, which is a fairly simple structure, the sea squirt has a pretty firm but flexible body covering called a tunic, and this is where it gets its name, the tunicate, from. And then they have two siphons because they're filter feeders, which means that they feed off of mainly plankton in the seawater. So they do this by sucking in seawater through their oral siphon, and it passes through their branchial basket, which traps food particles and oxygen, and then the water squirts out through the atrial siphon, hence their name sea squirts. Although the tunicates on the docks at Mass Maritime are really interesting to study, that's only a fraction of the over 2,000 species of ascidians in the phylum Chordata. So one thing I found really intriguing when I was doing some research is that recent studies have come about regarding anti-cancer properties found in marine drugs in some of these ascidians. So let's take a closer look. In the Caribbean, we know that there's really high biodiversity. So with this, there's a myriad of sea squirt species, one of them which is the Tridymnum solidurn. And it kind of looks like a greenish-gray pancake, and it encrusts rocks and corals, and is found generally around 40 meters deep in the ocean. And a recent research study on this family of tunicates has revealed that it is comprised of cyclic depsipeptides, which are basically chemical compounds that are found to have really impressive antiviral, anti-tumor, and immunosuppressant properties. So clinical trials were done using this tunicate as anti-cancer treatment. However, it was found to be slightly toxic to the patient, so it was stopped being used in the trials. But more research has to be done because it definitely had a lot of potential for kind of this more natural cancer treatment. Another family of ascidians that was researched for anti-cancerous properties is called the Echinacidea turbinata. So these types of tunicates grow in colonies, also found in the Caribbean, but they're a translucent orange color, and they have a much more upright structure as opposed to the Tridymnum that kind of cover the coral like a blanket. And studies have shown that natural compounds in these types of tunicates are responsible for anti-tumor activity in human cells. And there has already been some notable success with the echinacidin, and the FDA actually approved and marketed a drug stemming from the marine drug found with these types of sea squirts. So it's under the trade name Yondelis, and it's actually used by cancer patients today, which I think is truly fascinating how we were able to take a natural compound found in these types of sea squirts and actually make it into a drug usable by humans to treat cancer. So now that we know a little more about the importance of ascidians, who cares? I mean, aren't they just these fun little organisms that you can use as squirt guns on the beach? Well, yes, but these tunicates offer so much more ecological services to humans than we know. Using natural products to treat diseases and cancer is so much more beneficial to the human body than using synthetic compounds. Yes, there were some struggles in clinical trials with discovering the toxicity in certain types of tunicates. However, all in all, using a natural marine drug that our bodies can handle is much more effective than attempting to create a chemical from scratch to cure cancer with unknown side effects. A lot of people don't want to work with natural products because they're more expensive and they're more difficult to research, but I think that truly they're more beneficial to the human body, and that's why it's so important to do research on these natural marine drugs. And it's critical that now that we know that there are potential for anti-cancer compounds in these tunicates, scientists can study many more species, and who knows what we'll discover. Really, the possibilities are endless, and there are species of these tunicates right on campus at Mass Maritime Academy. So I mean, what if one of those species that are just those little potato things that stick to our lobster traps, what if one of them has the potential to cure a patient with cancer? It's truly fascinating and eye-opening to discover the potential that these small organisms have that can greatly benefit the human race. And finally, for my works cited, these are just some of the sources that I used to research on this project, and they're really interesting. So if you're interested in continuing to read more about these tunicates and their anti-cancer properties, definitely check some of these out.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.